This is the program that shows you the side of police chase videos they didn't want you to see. Bungled arrests, kamikaze crooks and cop-based carnage of all kinds. Welcome to Cops Uncut, the real car crash TV.
On my way.
Coming up on Cops Uncut. This SUV comes to a sudden stop. This suspect gets overpowered by the police. And this Christmas turkey gets microwaved.
Taking off again.
Life in the fast lane can be hard if you're a commuter belt criminal like the suburban suspect in this people carrier up ahead. You've probably had the equivalent of a hard day at the office, causing crimes, committing felonies and generally breaking the law. All you want to do is get home to the missus, crack open a bottle of Chardonnay and have a bit of Desperate Housewives. Instead, you've got the rush hour traffic to contend with. Worse still, the old bill is on your case. And squad cars are buzzing round your SUV like wasps round a jar of Taste the Difference honey. If only they'd get out of your way like these guys who have sensibly pulled onto the hard shoulder. But highway patrolmen are persistent fellows, and no amount of carefully executed bobbing and weaving is going to shift them. A brief word of warning, though, about your wheels. That breed wagon you're driving might be perfect for picking up the kids after their piano lessons, but middle-class motors like these are only any good if you're sticking to the straight and narrow. Leave the beaten track and take a corner too fast, and you could find yourself wishing you'd gone for a less family-friendly motor. Just remember that you do have size on your side, and you probably have the intelligence advantage too. So just wait for the cops to get out of their cars before politely taking your leave. And as soon as you spot your chance, simply carry on with your commute home. With any luck, your expensive car will escape any close encounters like these without sustaining too much damage. Hopefully your sat-nav didn't take a knock. Because the trouble with suburbia is that all the streets look the same, so you could have a bit of a problem on your hands if your TomTom decides to give up the ghost. Our advice is to carry on driving in ever-decreasing circles until you see something you recognize. If you're really lost, you could always ask a policeman. Although you may have to wait for him to catch up first. The last thing you want is for your wine to go warm and your dinner to wind up in the dog. So make a quick call to your better half to tell her you're a little caught up in traffic. If you really want to keep her sweet, you could stop off and pick up some flowers at a service station. Though we heartily recommend removing the cellophane wrapper before you hand them over. It's always a dead giveaway. You're on the home stretch now. It's been a nightmare journey, but as the sun sets on yet another busy day in Commuterville, USA, the end is in sight. Unfortunately, the cops are still on your tail as you turn the final corner and find a nice place to park. But hopefully Mrs. Crook won't be too upset that you brought home some unexpected guests. The pickup is an all-purpose transport that's favoured by backwater hicks and late-night drink drivers everywhere. The only trouble is that this classic crookmobile is a magnet for the feds. So, if you drive a truck like this, sometimes you might find you pick up more than you bargained for. And if you're a cop, you need to take extra care when you're booking the driver, because it's all too easy to let yourself get a bit carried away.
Taking off again.
Still to come in part 1. This suspect sheds some light on the situation, and this WPC finds out the naked truth about police work. As a member of the Highway Patrol, there's a very good reason why you're not supposed to execute a pit maneuver at night. Visibility is poor, and should you attempt to ram your suspect off the road, you may not be able to see exactly what it is you're ramming him into. A live telegraph pole, for instance. A little collateral damage to the street furniture probably isn't going to upset anybody, but carelessness like this might just be the spark that causes the whole incident to blow up in your face. So, in the heat of the night, we don't advise pulling a pit, because it's all too easy to get your wires crossed. Class dismissed. Those may be palm trees rather than Norwegian spruce, but today is December the 15th, and 'tis the season to be jolly. In the sunnier American states, it's hard to get into the Christmas spirit. So both cops and crooks try to spread some holiday cheer. The suspect ahead, for example, puts on a bit of a festive light show for his pursuers. Then everyone joins in with a round of popular Yuletide games. In this case, it's hide and seek on wheels. Once they find their friend, the police give him a very special Christmas present: 50,000 volts of electricity in the back. So it may not be a white Christmas, but at least this turkey's well and truly cooked. It's good to know that Middle America is moving with the times and wising up to equal opportunities.
Sir, I asked you a question. What do you have illegal on you? You or in the car? Knives, weapons, narcotics?
Here in Ohio, for example, they have at least one female deputy. She may be slight of frame, but she's keen to prove that she's just as tough as any other cop.
Sir! Don't you move! I'm gonna shoot you with this right now. Do you understand me?
This WPC is packing a high-voltage stun gun, and she's not afraid to use it.
I'm gonna shoot you with this taser. Get out of the car! You're under arrest! You are under arrest for driving under suspension. Get out of the car. Do it now.
She's certainly a woman who knows what she wants.
I'm gonna shoot you with this taser. Do you understand me? Get out of the car! Now!
Meanwhile, across town, one of her male colleagues is dealing with a separate incident.
Ma'am, you gotta take care. I gotta go somewhere else, okay? Drive careful.
But he drops everything as soon as he hears that his colleague is in trouble. Prince Charming heads off to the rescue. Back at our original location, the female cop has lived up to her word and deployed her taser. But in the ensuing off-camera scuffle, the suspect somehow gets hold of the weapon and gives the officer a taste of her own medicine. Thankfully, the cavalry is on its way. The second officer arrives on the scene and bravely tackles his colleague's assailant with a few strong words.
Put him on the ground! Put him on the ground! Put him on the ground!
I don't have a taser!
Fat load of good he is. This knight in shining armor turns out to be all mouth and no trousers. It takes the arrival of a third squad car and two slightly more chivalrous officers to pry the suspect off the frazzled WPC and get him where they want him. In the battle of the sexes, things tend to get quite heated.
Get out of the car. Sir, you're under arrest because... Sir! Don't you move! I'm gonna shoot you with this right now.
There's discrimination on both sides of the law, but male and female cops can be just as useless as each other. When the crook below nearly plows into a school bus, it's clear he's been taking lessons at the Getaway Drivers' School of Motoring. For example, why drive on the road when there are perfectly good lawns to ruin? And if you do have to stick to the tarmac, then make sure the SUV you're driving is well and truly stolen. Keep on trucking and stop for no one, and that includes any unmarked police vehicles that attempt to confuse you by driving the wrong way down a slip road. Always maintain an unsafe distance of at least 2 inches between you and the car in front, and swerve dangerously between lanes wherever possible. At junctions, take extra care to ignore traffic signals and stop signs. And finally, when it comes to parking, pick your spot carefully. Line yourself up and gently bring your vehicle to a complete stop. This bloke has passed his test with flying colours, which is why the boys in blue are so keen to catch up with him and pass on their congratulations. As a special prize, they award him a pair of silver bracelets, plus a trip to a top jail cell of their choice. So remember, learning to drive like a crook is as easy as MRSA. That's maneuver, rollover, scarper, and arrest. In the US, the most popular motorsport among trailer trash and ne'er-do-wells is something called NASCAR racing. This dust-blown backwater isn't exactly Daytona Beach, but there's enough of an audience for the cops to show off some stock car skills of their own. They're off. And the crook in the brown motor narrowly escapes being the filling in a squad car sandwich. For a moment, it looks like the suspect might beat both officers to the finish line. But then the cop ahead pulls a classic NASCAR move. And thanks to a further full-on ramming from his teammate, the brown car and its driver are taken right out of the race.
Taking off again.
Still to come in part 2. These cops get blinded by the light. And this policeman pulls up to the bumper.
Taking off again.
As a cop on the beat, sometimes the night patrol can get a bit boring. It's 2:30 in the morning and most normal people, even most criminals, are safely tucked up in bed. So when you're driving around quiet residential streets like these, the last thing you expect to see coming towards you is a completely naked man brandishing a knife. And the last thing you expect him to do when he sees your police car is jump over the bonnet and give you a gratuitous close-up of his unholy undercarriage. At this point, you have 2 choices. You can either try to pretend it didn't happen at all and attempt to erase that hideous image from your mind, or you can chase after your new friend and try to communicate with him. Needless to say, we'd go with the first option wherever possible. Because if he's naked and carrying a knife, then he's probably not the sort of fellow who's going to make a great deal of sense even at the best of times.
Are you okay?
No. When a creature like this comes out at you from the darkness, by far the best thing to do is turn the other cheek.
Taking off again.
The world over, White Van Man is the scourge of the road.
141, he's in a ditch here.
Or, in this case, the side of the road.
Okay, he just hit Bill here.
In fact, this he is a she.
We've got him stopped here.
A soccer mum who looks like she's had one too many on her way home from the Kiddie League's playoffs. But the cops here couldn't give a monkeys about the gender of their suspect.
Hold up! Hold up!
They just want to let off as much live ammunition as possible. And even though they've reduced her van to a smoking wreck, they just keep letting her have it.
Get out of the car! Get out of the car!
Perhaps if someone just said the magic word. Eventually the cops run out of patience. Or maybe bullets. And the trooper on the right makes a pathetic attempt at smashing the window with his flashlight.
Watch out, Bill! Watch out, Bill! She'll try to run over you.
Except, of course, she won't, because her van is shot to pieces. It wasn't me, Gov. In the chillier regions of North America, it's perfectly understandable that you might want to have a little nip of something to warm you up. Unless, of course, it's your intention to get behind the wheel and drive on the already treacherous, icy roads. Take the lady in this Jeep, for instance, who's been reported to the police by several motorists for wobbling all over the highway. The officer who pulled her over is getting the classic "it wasn't me, Gov" denial from his suspect. And she's even refusing to take the DUI test.
I'm going to have my supervisor come out here and go ahead and talk to you, okay? I mean,
It's quite common for drink drivers to plead not guilty.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
Okay.
Please give me back my license and my registration. Why can't you?
Even when the evidence is stacked against them.
There's nothing wrong with me.
Okay. From the smell of it, you've been drinking, I know that. I mean, I see you smell some alcohol on you when I...
But Alice Resnick here is a state Supreme Court justice.
I've always said that Supreme Court justice should have a highway patrolman driving them.
And she clearly thinks she deserves preferential treatment. In fact, her blood alcohol level is later confirmed to be twice the legal limit.
Right now, you're pretty much wobbling.
I'm not wobbling.
But she continues to perjure herself.
I've not been drinking. You know.
Eventually, our juiced-up Judge Judy throws in the towel.
Okay, I'm not going to argue.
She returns to her motor to collect her things and possibly make a quick call to her attorney before leaving her Jeep behind and accompanying the troopers back to the station. All of which proves that no one is above the law, and when they say justice is blind, in some cases it's just blind drunk. We join this roadside incident in the early hours of the morning. The suspects have driven their white getaway car slap bang into a fire hydrant and the chase is all but over. But not before they enjoyed an all-night crime spree that involved stealing money from cash machines, kidnapping and burglary at gunpoint. The victim of the burglary, Mark Champ from North Carolina, dialed 911 to report the crime as soon as the thieves had left. Now, all the cops need to do is search the vehicle to see if they can find any of Mr. Champ's stolen property to use as evidence. Easier said than done, apparently, since no matter how many officers arrive on the scene, no one seems able to get the boot open. The officer asks his colleagues for help. Everyone else is a bit busy arresting armed criminals, but the general consensus is that there's probably a button somewhere that will pop the trunk open. Unfortunately, the cop can't find it for the life of him. And he's just about to blow the thing open with his gun when he notices something round, shiny, and button-shaped. Well done. And there is indeed something belonging to Mr. Champ inside. It's his teenage daughter, Tabitha. She's scared, shaken, but grateful that the police managed to rescue her eventually.
Taking off again.
K9 units like Officer Herbert here are usually called into action when there are some drugs to sniff out. But the Abbeville PD is having such a hard time catching their suspect tonight that they've recruited, quite literally, everyone and their dog. Sadly, it's not hard to see how the fugitive in this pickup might be giving his pursuers the runaround. All it takes is a pair of bright headlights to make the cops retreat. And even basic evasion tactics like these leave the cops in a cloud of dust. Panicking, the outwitted officers drive round in circles as they try to go after him again, and generally flap about like a bunch of headless chickens. Back on the road, and Officer Herbert has taken pole position. But this isn't much of a high-speed chase, and with proceedings never really reaching more than 20 miles an hour, he doesn't exactly deserve a medal for catching up with the runaway. There's a good reason why things have slowed down too. The pickup's telltale lopsided lean is a clear indication that the truck has lost one, if not both, of its left side tyres. But neither that nor the large number of patrol cars on its case can seem to get this guy to stop. On and on he goes until even the suspect himself starts to get a bit bored of the cops' inability to bring things to an end. By now, just about everyone is losing the will to live, but K9 and company haven't got the balls to sink their teeth into him. Eventually, the fugitive runs out of either petrol or patience. He simply grinds to a halt and takes his chances on foot. Still slow on the uptake, Officer Herbert points his pistol at the empty vehicle before cottoning on and joining his colleagues in pursuit. It's not long before the man is caught without the aid of Herbert's four-legged friend, who stayed in his basket the whole time. The chummy cops look rather pleased with themselves too. We're not sure why they're hugging each other because, let's face it, they all made a complete dog's dinner out of this one. Whether you're a high-ranking chief superintendent or a lowly traffic cop on night patrol, you always need to be thinking one step ahead. Crime could come from anywhere, so you need to stay alert, remain focused, and keep your eyes peeled for anything suspicious. But just because you're ready for whatever happens to be around the next corner, that doesn't mean you should ever ignore what's right in front of you. The trouble is that some cops just don't seem to know when to stop in the name of justice. So what have we learned today on Cops Uncut? If your suspect is a live wire, the sparks could start to fly. Never turn your back on a taser. And when you've got a meeting with the cops, don't forget to bring your clothes. Be careful out there.